a medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid?
But you see how much kidnappers are taking from victims.
My thing is, government will, I think all the stakeholders will get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So it is support that is needed. And once you get the support, your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. Welcome to the May 30th, 2022 edition of Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Weber. It's my pleasure to host you on today's program, and I do hope you had a restful weekend for the week ahead. Unfortunately, my guest is not in the studio with me this morning to discuss the newspaper headlines. So we'll just be going through some of the headlines on some select papers we'll be reviewing this morning. And of course, we have on our menu Nigeria's most influential leadership. We have its sister publication, National Economy, The Nation, and Blueprint newspapers. As usual, too, we are flagging up with leadership. Let's see what leadership is leading with this Monday. On leadership cover, we have the story on PDP presidential primary, how Tambuwa's withdrawal swung 182 Northwest votes for Atiku. PDP presidential primary, how Tambuwa's withdrawal swung 182 Northwest votes for Atiku. The story is on page 4 of leadership. And underneath the story, we have riders. SVP's chances also boosted by Northern power play. Situation saved him from fierce battle emerging as party's presidential candidate. Fayose may have donated 16 votes to Wike to score zero votes. Southern middle belt leaders react. I'll take the leading story once again. PDP presidential primary, how Tambuwa's withdrawal swung 182 Northwest votes for Atiku. SVP's chances also boosted by Northern power play. Situation saved him from fierce battle emerging as party's presidential candidate. Fayose may have donated 16 votes to Wike to score zero votes. Southern middle belt leaders react to the story of Tambuwa's emergence as PDP presidential candidate. And the story is on page 4 of leadership Monday, May 30th, 2022. And snippets of the story said, say for the last minute withdrawal of Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwa from the People's Democratic PDP presidential race and his support for former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the latter would have had a tougher battle emerging as the party's presidential candidate. Atiku Tambuwa was the only aspirant from the Northwest geopolitical zone, which had 182 delegates at the convention, the largest number by any zone. Atiku's chances was also boosted by the withdrawal from the race by investment banker Mohammed Hayatuddin, following pressure by northern elders for northern aspirants to back Atiku for the ticket. That's some snippets of the headline story on leadership. Still on leadership newspapers, there's other news making the cover on today's edition. Let's see on a strip above the leading story says EFCC arrests Yari over Accountant General's 84 billion naira probe. EFCC arrests Yari over Accountant General's 84 billion naira probe. And the story is on page 7 of leadership. Beneath the masthead of leadership, we have the story wheat flour substitution phase on low cassava demand supply gap. Wheat flour substitution phase on low cassava demand supply gap. The story is beneath the masthead of leadership, and is also on page 7 of the paper. Above the masthead, let's see what the story is saying, what leadership is saying. Okada riders invade FCT estate, burn houses over colleague's death. Okada riders invade FCT estate, burn houses over colleague's death. The story is on page 6 of the paper. Going down to leadership, let's see what leadership is saying more on the news making the rounds. Train attack, terrorists give fresh ultimatum. Train attack, terrorists give fresh ultimatum. And the story is on page 6 of leadership. And on the cover of leadership is also a cover picture of President Muhammad Buhari arriving at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, after participating at the African Union Extraordinary Session of Assembly of Heads of States and Government in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea yesterday. Welcome, Mr. President. That is all we can take on leadership newspaper review. From leadership, we move over to is another paper we have on our menu, and that is Blueprint. Blueprint also has a similar story close to that of leadership. It says 2023 presidential ticket, Atiku's emergence as PDP candidate unsettles APC. 2023 presidential ticket, Atiku's emergence as PDP candidate unsettles APC. Party reschedules convention to June 6, yet to screen aspirants. Tinubu better position to give Atiku a good fight. Party source. Osinbajo well equipped to confront the SVP. Identify the right leader. Zoning slot to Northeast only way to tackle SVP or Jikalu. Why ex-President Jonathan's option can can't fly, Lookman. Consensus still our best bet, according to Okechukwu. Let's take the headline story once again. 2020-23 presidential tickets. Articles emergence as PDP candidate unsettles APC. Party reschedules convention to June 6 yet to screen aspirants. Tinubu better position to give Atiku a good fight. Party source. Osinbajo well equipped to confront the SVP. Identify the right leader, says. Zoning law to Northeast only way to tackle SVP, Oji Kalu. Why ex-President Jonathan's option can't fly? Lookman. Consensus still our best bet. Okay, Chuku. This is the headline story on Blueprint newspaper this Monday, May 30th, 2022, and the story is on page 6. For more on the stories, you get the paper or log into their website. Still on Blueprint newspaper, let's see what the cover has on. Yes, UBA rewards loyalty as customers win 16.6 million in Super Savers Promo. Page 25. Russian-Ukraine war. Subsidy spending on petrol up 97% in first quarter 2022. Russia-Ukraine war. Subsidy spending on petrol up 97% in first quarter of 2022. The story is also on page 25. Page 13 of the paper, we have Akwa Ibom. Man to die by hanging for killing pregnant wife. Page 13 of Blueprint newspaper, Akwa Ibom. Man to die by hanging for killing pregnant wife. On page 5 of the paper, we have the story on ex-Zamfara Governor Yari, who has been arrested over AGF Idris 80 billion naira probe. Ex-Zamfara Governor Yari arrested over AGF Idris, that is Accountant General of the Federation, Idris 80 billion naira probe. And the story is on page 5 of leadership. Of Blueprint. COVID-19. IHP detox T not yet approved drug for cure. COVID-19. IHP detox T not yet approved drug for cure. NAFDAC warns. Page 15 of Blueprint newspaper has more on the story. COVID-19 IHP detox T not yet approved approved drug for cure NAFDAC wants. And page 5 of Blueprint says insecurity, Southern Kaduna Christian leaders urge communities to defend their land. Page 5 of Blueprint newspaper says insecurity, Southern Kaduna Christian leaders urge communities to defend their land. That story is on page 5 of Blueprint. Now let's move over to the masthead or beneath the masthead of the paper Blueprint. Why Indigbo will rise against PDP Atiku Ohaneze? Why Indigbo will rise against PDP Atiku Ohaneze accuses party of marginalization. Work with me, Atiku begs Wike, Saraki, others. Why Indigbo will rise against PDP Atiku Ohaneze accuses party of marginalization. Work with me, Atiku begs Wike, Saraki, others. That is all for now on Blueprint newspaper this morning. From Blueprint, let's move over to the Nation newspaper. The Nation says the headline story is Presidency. Buhari not part of plot to draft Jonathan into race. Presidency. Buhari not part of plot to draft Jonathan into race. Ex-president not qualified to be a standard bearer, says a National Working Committee member. Presidency. Buhari not part of plot to draft Jonathan into race. Ex-president not qualified to be a standard bearer, says National Working Committee member. The story is the headline story on The Nation this morning. Let's see other stories that Nation lays with on this cover. EFCC, okay, above the masthead. Let's go over first to the masthead. Above the masthead, 8 children for release to train terrorists. 8 children for release to train terrorists. Respite for captives. That is on page 7. The story is saying 8 children for release to train terrorists. So the trained terrorists that's had some of the kidnappers captive since is said to release 8 children and respite for captives. The story is on page 7 of The Nation. Primaries, 42 senators won't return. Primaries, 42 senators won't return. Number likely to rise. Primaries, 42 senators won't return. Number likely to rise. Then above the masthead, still on the masthead, above the masthead of the paper, Methodist prelate bishop, Methodist prelate bishop kidnapped in Abia, page 6 of the paper. Methodist prelate bishop kidnapped in Abia. Still on underneath the story, we have Jimo Ibrahim Obiano's wife Bagudu win Senate tickets. The story is on page 10 of The Nation. EFCC uncovers another 90 billion naira fraud against Accountant General. EFCC uncovers another 90 billion naira fraud against Accountant General. On the right-hand side of the paper, we see how Atiku struck last-minute deal with Tambuwa to win tickets. How Atiku struck last-minute deal with Tambuwa to win tickets. Lessons for APC from PDP convention. Now, on the strip, we have the story Pope names Nigerian Okpaleke others cardinals. Pope names Nigerian Okpaleke others cardinals. And still on the strip, we have suspect excretes 96 heroin pellets. Let's go down on the paper and see the other stories on The Nation. President signs 19 out of 131 bills passed by Senate in 3 years. President signs 19 out of 131 bills passed by Senate in 3 years. Government key NPC chief. The story is on page 6 of The Nation newspaper from the nation. Let's move over to the last paper we have on our menu, and that is our sister publication, National Economy. National Economy is leading with the story interest rate hike. SMEs turn to cooperative societies for funding. Interest rate hike. SMEs turn to cooperative societies for funding. Raising interest rate will reduce for loanable funds for investment, according to economists. SMEs turn to cooperative societies for funding, as raising interest rates will reduce loanable funds for investment, according to economists. Let's read some snippets of the story. Following interest rate hike by the Monetary Policy Committee MPC last week by 150 basis points to 13%, some owners of small and medium-sized businesses in Nigeria are turning to crowdfunding for investment funds, just as some economists have identified cooperative societies as the best source of borrowing by small and medium-scale enterprises. Author Ndukwe, who owns a soap factory in Karo District, Abuja, told National Economy yesterday that he has come to a point where he has no other option than to turn to crowdfunding for capital to expand his business. He added that he could not afford a 28% interest rate offered by his bank, which was likely to go up in the coming days with the increase in interest rates by the CBN. For more on the stories, get a copy of Lead National Economy, or better still, you log on to the website to read more on the stories. Let's see what other stories is on the cover of National Economy. Above the masthead, we see a story: Nigeria to enjoy preferential trade access to US market. Envoy. Nigeria to enjoy preferential trade access to US market, according to US envoy. That is the stories on National Economy this Monday. Well, yes, this is where we call it a day on today's Inside Nigeria. Don't forget, tomorrow is another day. The program paper review and discussions runs from Monday to Friday. Do keep a date with us every other day, because there's so much insightful and precise analysis on the program. Until I come your way again tomorrow, stay tuned and don't go away. I remain Winifred Ugbebo. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.